Welcome to Sun Sports One-on-One. I'm Derek McGregor, and every week I'll be speaking to managers about what makes them tick, who their biggest influences are, and how they attempt to unwind from the stresses and strains of football management. Today it's Ayr United Scott Brown. It's a fascinating interview, and I hope you enjoy it. Scott, they say it's nice to be by the seaside. How's your 9 months been at Ayr?
I've not seen much of the seaside, but that's been good so far. And the club's trying to go in the right direction. It's very professional, well organised and well run. And for us, they want to go forward. They want to try and produce everything that they have to maximise pretty much everything, whether it's funds, whether it's pitch, whether it's round about the stadium as well. So it's in a good place.
It's a very go-ahead club. It doesn't take you long to find that out when you're here.
Yeah, it all comes from the chairman. He's got an ambition. He wants to get this club as high as he possibly can in his time in charge. So hopefully he manages to do that.
How would you describe your relationship with the chairman, David Smith? Is it the most important relationship for you at this club?
Yeah, I had obviously a good relationship with the last chairman at Fleetwood, and he ended up in jail sadly. So for us, it was important that we got the right club at the right time. And as I say, the relationship straight away with the chairman, we've got on really well. We've a little bit of banter, but obviously when it's time to be serious, you've got to make sure that both of us are making the right decisions based for the football club as well.
Everyone at the club last week, Scott, was kind of holding their breath. Clearly there was interest in you, and ultimately you've decided to stay. Everyone's thrilled about that. Was the biggest thing? Surely you don't doubt that.
No, for myself and Stephen, we're in a good place at this moment in time. We're enjoying our football. We're in a club that's in a healthy position at this moment in time, with a chairman that's got a drive, that isn't a dictator, that sits and lets us do what we need to do, and that's your budget, that's your whatever your playing style is, you do it, and he's got full faith in us and we've got full faith in him, and it's a huge pull that to have that. And don't get me wrong, we've got ambitions, we've got dreams as well as a coaching staff, and we want to try and push everything as far as we can, and we want to develop as well to be the best we possibly can be.
I think there's interest from a Premiership club. It's obviously it's a compliment to you and it's a compliment to the club how they're going, but there's been a few theories put around as to why you decided to stay, but was the biggest one what you've got here and the relationship you have with people, the ambitions of the club?
For me, I came in 9 months ago now, and I wanted to have a drive, I wanted to have a vision as well, and my job's to make all these players better. And whether it's daily, it's sort of over 9 months, it's over a year, we want to see there's a gradual improvement in the way, in the style, but also touch and feel and understanding of the game as well. So for us, we've got that. We came here with a 2-year contract, and for us, the chairman offered us an extra year. And it was a no-brainer at the time, and as I say, the club's in a great place. We're in a good place at this moment in time, but we need to make sure we keep pushing standards.
When you came here, obviously you had to kind of consolidate and settle in, but was your top ambition to one day take the club into the top flight?
One game at a time, yeah. No, the last season was obviously hard, and there was a few injuries when we came in. The squad probably isn't as strong as what it is now, and we got rid of a lot of players, and including a lot of players that played a lot of games last season. So we made the conscious decision to try and turn the club around from what it was to what we want it to be. And the chairman, for us, was being brilliant with that. He was like, it's your vision, it's your way, it's your madness behind the method. So he says it's completely up to you. So the players that we've brought in, we've done really well so far. We're happy with the team, the squad with us. Do you always want more? Of course we always want more. Everyone wants more, but you get injuries, and we've had big injuries. So for us it's been quite hard that, but the lads keep digging away, keep fighting, and there's competition for the place.
I saw a comment from you the other day that the chairman basically said to you, here's your budget, spend it however you want, you make your decisions. Was that kind of music to your ears?
Yeah, he wouldn't let us spend the whole budget with myself and Stephen, so no, it's good that way, because I would rather that, because if I make mistakes, we bring in the players and that, yes, you're not going to get every player right and understand the way you want to play, but for us it's important that we've got control on the players that come in, we've got control in training, and also who we pick on the Saturday. And you don't want to be told what to do, you don't want to be dictated what to do and how and when it is, and that's what becomes a good chairman, and also an ambitious chairman as well, because he lets you go and have that drive, and it's on us at the end of the day.
Are you influenced in that respect, Scott, by the managers you've also worked for? Because they're proper managers, the ones that you've previously worked for, who have had full authority. Is that something that's influenced you now that you're a manager?
Yeah, speaking to managers before I came here, and they were like, the main thing for you is to make sure that you can get on with the chairman, that you've got trust in the chairman and he's not going to tell you one thing and go and do the other thing. And that is the biggest thing in football. You've got to be able to put faith in the people above you, and we have got faith in them, and hopefully they've got faith in us as well.
Is Ayr United a club, a Premiership club in all but status? You know, you look at the new stand, you look at the people behind the scenes, the investment of the chairman. Do you see it as a Premiership club in so many ways?
They have got ambitions to be in the Premiership. We have got ambitions as well, but as it stands now, we're 7 games into the league, and we need to make sure that we're organised, we continue, and all these lads have got a drive as well. We want to be managers and coaches in the Premiership. These lads want to play in the Premiership, but you have to do that with hard work and also togetherness as a team.
I think when you were appointed, understandably, and obviously Stephen Whittaker joined you, you know, the fans were seeing 2 legends coming in, guys, remarkable playing careers, and suddenly expectations shoot up. Has it been trying to keep a brake on the expectations while at the same time still clearly trying to be ambitious?
It's great to have expectations because it's a drive and it's a belief in the fans. The fans have been brilliant. They're coming in their hundreds, thousands, and want to be part of it. And the new stand, they've got excited with the new stand as well, and quite rightly so. The style of play has changed a little bit from when we've came into what is now as well. Personnel's changed quite dramatically. So for us, it's all going in the right direction. Do we want to keep mellow? 100%. We have to have that. But for us, it all becomes down to the Saturday games and whatever we do during the week, and that. There's a lot of faith put into the lads, and they've done exceptionally well so far, and they've taken in all our game plan, what we want to do, what press high, what get after teams, and they've taken on that, and they've risen to that challenge.
You're in your 40th year now, Scott. You're getting old.
Felt old because I had to join in training today.
Well, that leads to my next question. How involved are you in training at the moment? Is it difficult for you to hold yourself back, or you play a full part?
No, you know when it's time. And we went down to Fleetwood. I didn't join in much when I was down there. I've had to join in a wee bit more here due to personnel. If we got a couple of injuries and that, we've not got a full youth system that's in training daily with us. So they come in and out of school. So depending on numbers, me and Stephen have to join in. But I'm not too keen on joining in, if I'm honest. Those days have been and gone, and I had a fine career. It was not a problem. But now it's all about these lads' career and trying to make them as good as they possibly can be.
Have you still got it?
No.
When you need to in the training?
No. The sharpness, the 17 and 18-year-old lads, just have the ball, lads, it's all right. So I can run and turn and slowly, but if I need to be an extra number, I need to be. But we try and do what's best for the team, and what's best is me and Stephen sometimes not joining in.
When we think about you as a player, Scott, it's, you know, the images, obviously the shaven head, the aggression, the competitiveness, the ability, the full package. You were a fairly intimidating prospect in midfield for the opposition. Becoming a manager, was there a conscious decision that you had to change to?
Yeah, I mellowed a little bit.
Yeah, was that important, you think?
Yeah, you have to learn as well that I was able to influence things on the pitch with driving, tackling, getting on the ball, playing passes, try to score goals and driving the whole team forward. You can't do that when you're 39 and you're sitting on the side. So for me, it's to find another way to how to deal with that as a personal issue as well, because I want to get involved every day in training. I want to run, I want to do this, but I know you have to step back and you have to let the young ones through and show what they can do. And on the Saturday, I am involved in quite a lot. I want them to go and tackle, and you can hear my voice from the sidelines and stuff like that. But I'm not like that every day. I'm quite chilled and quite relaxed, and once we cross that white line, I want the lads to work extremely hard, but also take in the information that we do. And since we've come in, they've been brilliant. And the signings that came in as well, we thought it'd take a wee while for them all to gel together, but we've brought in really, really good lads, and I think that's the biggest part. That's probably the biggest quality that I can say about the lads. They've all came together really, really well, as in on the park and off the park as well.
Is that the biggest thing for you when you're on the touchline? Is it important that you're composed and you're considered and you've got
I wouldn't say I'm composed.
Well, not all the time, but do you feel it is more important that you're kind of temperamental wise, that you're more considered?
Yeah, like you've got to know, and I think Brendan was exceptional at like knowing when to turn it and change it on, and what to say at the right time at the right moment, and it just got the lads ticking really, really well. And the whole thing for me is a build up for the whole week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we're off for Thursday and we're back in on the Friday. It's all based up on how we're going to play on the Saturday. So the full week is in controlling the game, how they are playing, what system, when they're going to press, how they press, who presses who. So for us it's important the lads take it on, and they do that really, really well. And sometimes, we end up with only 16 players training, 8 trained today. It's part and parcel of being a manager. You've got to be able to chop and change different mindsets as well, but also different training sessions and different styles of play as well. You can't always be that nice, pretty football team when it comes to January. There's no grass on pitches. It's as you can imagine, the weather's down here is really, really nice, so you've got to be able to mix the game up at times as well. And it's Scottish football. We are not Man City. We understand that. Do we want to play good, attractive football? 100%. But you have to be able to do the dirty side of the game really well and work hard to make sure you can earn that.
I think when you were a captain, Scott, if I'd been a teammate, I would not have wanted to cross you as a manager here, or as a manager here even at Fleetwood. How often do you produce the hairdryer? Is it got to be...
To be fair, it's daily now for my new Barnet, if I know what I mean. No, we're quite mellow. As long as... The thing I expect most is the hard work. And if they're working hard together as a team, closing people down, getting body contact and trying the right things, we are 95% of the time more than happy. It's once they get sloppy and we come off of things and you're on a good run and it gets easy. It's a mentality thing. You've got to keep yourself driven. You've got to make sure that you're focused on the end goal, and the end goal is 3 points at the end of the weekend. And if we don't get that, why are we disappointed? Why did we not produce? Did we create enough chances? Could we have done better in different situations? Of course, you could always pick out things, but it's the lads that go in the park, and they've done brilliant for us since coming in.
How would Scott Brown, the manager, handle Scott Brown, the player, when you think about how you were and your playing?
With a struggle. With a struggle. I don't know how Lenny managed it for that long, or Brendan, but yeah, they done well. I was different. I was excitable. I had so much energy that I didn't know what to do with it half the time, and Gordon used to tell me just to run and just go and burn my energy before I can come into training. So it was small things, and I just enjoyed training. I enjoyed life, and I'm not an emotionally draining person. I like people with personalities. I want people to come in and go, "Morning, Gaffer, how are you?"
Yeah.
And not go,
You want a dressing room full of life. It's vibrant.
Yeah,
it's,
because it's a huge part of football. You have to show your personality on the park. You can be whoever you want for 100. Fucking hell, to be fair, the extra time these days is kind of going on a bit. So about 120 minutes by the time you add on those 2 minutes in each half you're getting these days. But no, you can be whoever you want, so you can show your personality on the football pitch. You don't have to be that outside. You can be nice, chilled and relaxed guy. And I think that was one thing that I did learn from Gordon. He was like, be whoever you want for 90 minutes. He went, be a crackpot. He went, be in people's faces. He went, demand standards. And then afterwards, be the nice guy, calm, relaxed, chilled off the pitch, have a bit of banter. He was like, and it's to have a personality, as in a person. And even the young lads now, they're doing heady tennis and that, and they've got a wee bit about them, and it's good to see that, and they can mix it with the first team lads. And when we were younger, you always wanted to be in that dressing room with the first team, and you've got to earn that.
I suppose it's, there'll be players that will be cocky, there'll be players that are gallus, but ultimately they've got to back it up, haven't they?
100%, that's the biggest one. If you can back that ballsy, shall we say, attitude up, then by all means go and show what you can do in the park, but also back yourself up as well. And yeah, talk. If you can talk the talk, you can walk with the walk, and the lads have done that so far, and it becomes a big personality to go out in that pitch and own the pitch. And for me, so far, the lads have really, really driven towards that.
I know you'll count yourself lucky when you look at the array of managers you played for, worked for. I mean, it's a remarkable list of managers. Have you taken?
You can say that one way or the other. I maybe got a couple of them sacked. So yeah.
Yeah.
Not as in me personally, but as in performances and stuff like that. So like whenever a new manager came in, I was huge on. I was captain. I wanted to make sure whether I believed he was right or wrong, I would work his way and trying to influence the lads and try and help the lads on the pitch. Why? Because you're trying to help this guy out to try and be the best he can possibly be, and that's what these lads have done for me. And I could have came in, I could have shouted, went mental, but they've got a drive about them, they've got a wee ambition as well, they've got a wee desire to be the best they can be, and whether we have to help them in the right direction at times, so be it, but that's our job.
Have you taken something from every manager
I've stole everything.
Stole.
That's the best way.
Unashamedly.
I'm for Fife. I'm not shy about anything, and you can ask every top manager, and they'll be lying to you if they say that they've not stole something from somebody else. I stole a lot from Brendan, especially at the end of my career. A lot for Lenny and a lot for Gordon, and even Tony as well. When we were back at Ibs, I stole a lot of stuff from that era as well. So we kind of mix and mould it, and myself and Stephen, there's a lot to do with Brendan, Lenny, Gordon and Walter Smith as well, that Stephen had as well.
Yeah.
The managers down the road that he had at Norwich. So you steal things that you enjoy as a player. We manipulate it a little bit, and not all managers are going to be the same, and I'm not the same as any manager that I've kind of worked under. So you've got to be your own person, but take or steal all the drills and all the way you play, the phases of play. Your understanding of the game might be different to Lenny, might be different to Brendan, and mine might be different to Stephen, but the two of us want it the same style, which is brilliant, and two of us are on a pro licence now, so you can imagine that you're going through phases of playing, we're like, both of us doing the same one here then, eh? They'll be thinking we're copying each other.
Who else is on the pro licence with you?
Nazy, Charlie Adams, Charlie Mulgrew, Johnny Hayes. There's quite a lot of the lads that I've played with, and we're all getting that slightly older, and you're all going into that midlife crisis thinking, like, let's be managers now.
That's a very entertaining group of characters.
Yes.
The pro licence in.
We've all mellowed over the years, shall we say.
So, are you travelling from the East Coast on a daily basis, yourself and Stephen?
Two us together. I'm either chauffeur or he's chauffeur. But no, it's all
Take
right.
turns getting the coffees in?
We stop at Starbucks on the way through, we chill, we organise training pretty much, and by the time we come here, and somebody's usually pulled out, somebody's ill, somebody's in, so you have to manipulate it. But no, it's actually, I don't mind driving. And I was at Celtic for long enough, and I drove back and forward from Edinburgh to Lennoxtown. That was just over an hour. So done that, went up to Aberdeen and drove back and forward to Aberdeen, had a house up there as well, but stayed down the road a bit too, so driving's not a problem.
So on an average morning, what time are you setting off at?
About 5:45, 6 o'clock.
Wow. It's but is that important thinking time for you, Scott? Does that allow you to just consider every aspect of what the day ahead?
Consider life. Jeez, you don't want to know what's going in my head.
I'm taking that a bit deep into it, but from a football perspective, is that ideal for you to then arrive here with a kind of clear?
It's good for
clear mind.
Phone calls, maybe not at that time to people, but on the way home, organising, speaking to agents, speaking to players that are on loan, speaking to teams that we've got players on loan to as well. So yeah, it's important that we manage to keep in with them as well, because they've done really well. Even Aberdeen for us have done exceptional. Let's have Alfie, who was in and about the first team squad as well, so they've managed to give us him, and that's been a good kind of relationship. So hopefully we can improve him, we can go back, they see we look after him, and then we can beg for another player.
Is that one thing you've quickly learned as a manager? It's
begging.
Begging. Yeah. To be fair, your contacts book's not the worst, Scott, is it?
It's all right, to be fair. It's not too bad.
Have you leaned heavily on it?
I've begged everybody.
You're not too shy.
I'm no shy, honestly. As I said before, I'm for Fife. I'll happily beg, steal, you name it. But no, it's to try and get the best for us as well. So as personnel, we want 2 players in every position. Our squad, can we get it? It's touch and go, especially with the budget and the way we want to try and play. But we've tried to push the budget as far as we possibly can. Even small things like Anton's out for the season, the chairman's like, right, I know we need a striker, and he's on to me saying, right, going to get you another striker. We can't get another striker. We've been trying to get players out there, and the way we want to play, the personnel as well, because it's hard to find them, but he's backing us, which is brilliant. We're just going to have to save it for January now.
To be fair, as we speak, today's loan deadline day. And
you're killing me.
Oh, you're missing out on top
strikers.
strikers.
It's 2:30 and it shuts at 5.
If he's missing out on a top striker, Ayr United fans, it's my fault, so apologies.
Paper.
Who are the managers that have made the biggest impact on you, Scott? That even
the 3
now,
that I was talking about: Brendan, Gordon, and Lenny. I still speak to all 3 of them all the time.
Regularly?
Yeah, I asked Brendan for a lot of advice, and he's still in a role. Strachan's just amazing. He's great personality, great human being, but also at the same time, he's got an understanding of this generation of football, what you want, how you have to maintain yourself, how to look after yourself. And Lenny's just Lenny's brilliant because he's honest. Whether you were good or you were rubbish at the weekend, he'd tell you that as a player, and he does that well with games as well, but also small things like going away, keeping in touch with texts and wee phone calls to make sure everything's all right, and even when he was away as well, just speaking to him and having that understanding.
3 brilliant managers.
There's a few that I don't keep in touch with.
Is there a few that wouldn't welcome a call?
There's probably a few that don't want a call from me.
Have you seen the photo in the boardroom of Gordon? As a Dundee player playing here back in the day. Have you seen that one?
Oh, there's too many
long
pictures
hair,
in that.
long hair, Gordon.
Oh no.
Oh, it's a belter.
Oh no.
It's an absolute belter. You need to tell him about it.
I'll go.
But you need to send him a picture
I'll
of it.
send a wee picture. I've not even seen half the pictures that are in there. You've had too much time in your hands since being here. Did I make you wait?
Not at all, not at all. No, but I remember when Brendan came in 2016 and the impact he had, not just in you, but the rest of the Celtic players. He had a dossier for each player, and suddenly the whole, the thinking changed so much. It was quite dramatic.
It was more science as well, science-based, as in shape, structure was very, very good, spot on, timing of movements, had to be right. And to be fair, the person I'm playing against at the weekend, John, also stole a lot of his stuff as well. So it should be a good game. John's done a fantastic job at Falkirk. He's done really, really well, so it's going to be interesting. But at the same time, you always look at a manager, steal a few things and you do other things. But no, Brendan came in and body fat was a huge thing. Distance covered, high speed, it had to be hit in training, in games. You had to tick it off, make sure. But then we all got into a competition, me, Cal, James and other people, and you start to look at going, I ran 12k, he ran 12 too. Right, I'm going to run 12.3 next week. I'm going to make sure I'm on it. I've got 102 touches here. He's got 88. Right, I'm on more touches. I've got more forward passes than what he had. So you start to look and you start to think, the gaffer's got me on toast here. He's actually making me think and play with my own mind. In
2016, as Brendan came in, at that point as a player, did you think you were being as professional as possible, and then he opened your eyes to how much further you could go?
Well, I tried. No, but he came in and he was a huge turnaround and probably kept me playing longer than I expected to play as well. And for me, he was spot on at the right time for a manager to come in to help me as well, because what he brought to my game was actually desire, not just desire, but desire to look after yourself, to be the best you can possibly be, and that was daily. That was how you looked, and it was all about you look in the mirror, make sure you look and you're not seeing, oh, I've got a wee puppy fat here, I've got a wee bit here, but it's all right, I still play football. It was like, be trim, look after yourself, make sure you're ready, you recover, you go again. And when it was international break and I'd retired, it was like, right, you've got 4 or 5 days, just go, chill, relax, don't go mental, but enjoy what you're going to do, and then come back in and you'll be refreshed, you'll go again. So man management's a huge point as well, and to have that understanding and also to look out for the player's best interest is a huge thing.
I mean, you can gather all the opinions you want, all the guidance, but ultimately you have to be your own man. And is that, something that you're very much, you're driven, but ultimately you make a decision yourself. You don't shy away from the big decision that you have to make, no matter what other advice you'll get.
No, I don't go running to Brendan and to Lenny and to Gordon. Now and then when I need something, or if I'm maybe struggling with personality or how to deal with a couple of people, you ask a couple of questions. But for me, I'm big enough, I'm ugly enough to deal with the big situations, and you have to make those decisions. Like last year we let go our captain. He was here for a couple of seasons, he'd done really well for them, but we wanted to go a different way. So we had to make that decision to let him go, but at the time we didn't have a centre-half, so we needed to make sure that we were getting good quality centre-halves in. We let 10, 11 players go last season, well, from last season to now. We've brought in, I would say, more quality, especially in the final third. Don't get me wrong, we've obviously missing Anton, getting injured with his cruciate, but you've got George, you've got Ethan, we've got Alfie, we've got Jake, we've got a lot of good players that have got goals in them in the final third, so that's what you want to see.
When did you know you wanted to become a manager, Scott? Was there a point a few years ago towards the end at Celtic, or was it even earlier that you thought one day I'm going to be a manager?
No, I helped coach the B team.
With Stevie Frail?
With Stevie Frail and Tommy Mack, the two of them. And Stevie was brilliant with me daily and helped me through my B licence at the time, because I started going in saying, oh, Stevie, we'll do this. And he was like, come and help us out here, take the B team, see what they're like. And started going into a wee bit of training. I went into a couple of games with them and I started travelling all about. And you get the understanding, and Stevie did help me a lot in those situations, because not knowing what to do before the game, half time, how they're chatting, what you're understanding, and then going away after the game. I used to only think about my game. I used to think, like, what could I have done better? How could I have played better? How could I got more touches? What can you? Now you're slowly thinking, like, 11 players, what about the subs that came on? How could we got better? Who gave the ball away? Why did we do this? What happened at the goal? And you're like, oh, it's bigger now, and I enjoyed that responsibility.
I remember speaking to Stevie a couple of years ago, actually, and he was so impressed with you, Scott, that when you started getting involved, you weren't this kind of, big name. When you turned up for there, you were humble, you were eager to learn. There wasn't a case of wanting any preferential treatment, and he thought that boded well for you for the future, that he saw you becoming a manager.
You didn't tell me that. No,
you didn't turn up with this big, I want this and I want that. It was, what do I need to do?
No, I was there to learn from them, so I had to know my place in the picking line, and Stevie was obviously in charge of day-to-day, taking a lot of training. He was very hands-on, and I liked that, and that's what got me encouraged in making sure that when I take training, I'm quite hands-on as well. Wits is very hands-on as well, so the two of us enjoy, but then we know, right, you're doing this bit, I'm doing that bit, so it's already set beforehand. Don't get me wrong, you get injuries, you have to join in training, you have to manipulate something. We do that, it's not a problem, but I learn from Stevie in that way and how he talks to people, but also he comes away from the game mode and starts to speak to them like they're just mates, and like, come on wee man, you can get better, we can do this, like, we'll go and start working on that, and he'd take them for individual sessions, he'd do extras with them, and I think that's what makes a top manager and a top coach.
I think when you went to Fleetwood, there was a lot of people in the game that they were admiring you for that decision, Scott, because I think taking any job's a gamble, but you took yourself way out your comfort zone, went down south. Obviously it was a challenge you just relished. Did you feel it was better for you to start your management away from Scotland?
Yeah, it was better for me to go and make mistakes. I think if I'd have made a lot of mistakes up here in the Championship or wherever I would have ended up, due to my personality and playing with Celtic, you probably get a little bit more banter for a few fans in the stadium, but also Twitter and Instagram, and people they can say whatever they want now, but for me it was good to go down and to learn, but we had a right good season the first season. We finished 13th in the league, and we weren't expected that because they almost went down the season before.
I think it obviously wasn't a cushy job. That you may have picked a better job for your first one, and of course people say the first job as a manager, if it goes wrong, you can be damaged after that. But it was a bold, brave move to go down there.
The one good thing about me and Stephen, we always back ourselves, and we tried to bring in as many players as we could. We probably didn't get as good squad as we would have liked to have, but with the budget that we did have, we were competing with everybody. We were all trying to sign the same players, especially in that north side of England, but at the same time, the lads that came in worked really, really well. We lost a couple of players, and we got a couple of players that we probably didn't want in the second part of season, and it kind of affected the group, and you can see that it's personalities and people that we didn't want at the time that kind of affected it, but hey, we're big enough and ugly enough to deal with the situation, and it happens. And Brendan phoned me after it saying, "Welcome to the Sack Club."
I mean, you've led the team, as a player, you've led teams out. Old Firm Derby, 60,000. You've played in some of the best stadiums on the planet. How nervous were you though in your first team talk as a manager? Was that a moment where you thought, right, okay, this is a new one? You've prepared for it, but suddenly there you are in front of a dressing room.
I was always all right in speaking. I'm not a shy person.
Yeah.
I used to speak in the change rooms at Celtic, Aberdeen, before the managers come in, and after the managers came in, I used to do the huddle. It was never a problem really. The only thing was weird was going to the review of the game and then talking to the players, as in giving my, right, this is where we should be, why should you be there, and I was going back into player mode. So you were like, right, you should have been here because I'd been covering over there, but I never make it about me. I make it about, like, we can always come across here, you can look out for there, because my day's been and gone, and whatever Stephen says has definitely been and gone as well, even after today's training session.
But I suppose when you're speaking to the players, it's important to be authentic. You're not then trying to change your accent, you're not trying to change your vocabulary, you're just trying to be you.
No, that's the biggest thing.
Message.
You've got to be
players
honest.
Can see through that, can't they?
Oh yeah, you can go and you can talk and jingles and hymns and do whatever you want, but I can't be anyone else. I'm a guy for five. I know my roots, I know where I've been, I know what I've done, but I'm at the bottom end of management because you're just starting. So you've got to work your way up all the way through the levels, and went to Fleetwood, learned, got sacked. It happens. Come back stronger, come to a good stable club that's got an ambition and start well in the season. And hey, we start well, we need to make sure we maintain that now.
We've mentioned all the club managers you had, but I mean, it could be too easy to overlook the ones at Scotland, and especially Walter Smith. Scott, how great a man was Walter, you know, as a person, as a manager?
Yeah, he was fantastic, and him and Cloyster at the time, and Tommy Burns when we were at Scotland, they had a brilliant, honest, it was a great laugh, the three of them, and you always knew Walter was the one though. He'd come in and had a bit of banter with you, but then he would leave, and these two would go and take the mick at you. They would join in training, they would have a wee bit of banter in boxes and stuff like that. And it's good to have that, because we've done really well under Walter because of the circumstances of Tommy and Cloyster, and being having that little bit of banter, coming in with the lads, knowing what it's about, playing in front of 50,000, but also he's the main man in charge, just mellow to him.
I mean, I don't mind admitting, as a reporter, I found Walter quite intimidating. I mean, the proper presence about him. Yeah. And did you find that as well? Did all the players find that Walter's in the room?
Like, aura about him. You walk in and you were like, you know, Walter was in the room, you're like, right, Scott, shut up, don't say anything, just go under the radar here. Hopefully you didn't cause any problems. But no, he was a big personality. He owned the room really well. He spoke very passionate about football, about how he wanted our Scotland team to do really well, what we wanted out of the game. But at the same time, he knew that half the lads were 17, 18, 19. So he knew there was going to be banter, they were going to mess about, they were going to misplace passes, and he dealt with it really, really well.
How do you unwind? You know, what's your idea of relaxation? Is it possible for you to switch off? Golf.
Then I get frustrated. Yeah.
What's your handicap?
11.
11?
Yeah, it's not as good as Callum's, but
he's scratch.
He's plus. Him and wee Basnick.
You wouldn't play Callum for money?
Nah.
You wouldn't play Callum, but I mean, how often do you get to play?
Me and Whit's the members of the same course, so we try and get down whenever we possibly can. We're off Thursdays, so usually on a Thursday we try and get down. Sundays we've got to be chauffeurs for kids. Are
you football obsessive? Do you read about it every opportunity? Do you watch it every opportunity? Or can you actually switch off?
No, I watch it. I don't really read much, if I'm honest. I'll go through notes and stuff like that and take little options, but I'd rather watch the game and see how it unfolds rather than reading about it in the paper the next day or reading it on social media, what other people thought, because I like to have my own opinion, how teams play, what you think, and what I see might be totally different compared to what you see. Yeah. So I like to just go, right, boom, take everything out of this, right, watch this game, see how it is, see how the teams are.
I mean, when you were Celtic captain, Scotland captain, I can only imagine the pressures on your time, but have you found that now that you're a manager, is even greater impact on, say, family time?
Oh, I'm not going to lie, when I played, it was easy.
Really?
Yeah, you could literally leave at 12:30, 1 o'clock if you needed to be away, and it's part and parcel. You try to look after yourself, but the older I got, the longer I stayed at the club. I started to do X, Y, Z, make sure I was ready, focused, and I got kind of obsessed about doing the same routine and making sure I was all right and how I had to prepare myself for the game. And I enjoy being about a club. I'm a people person. I can chat away to anybody, it's no problem. But then again, I have to switch and know that I can go into that kind of mode and the pitch, and it becomes a winner, and you have to become a winner. And I think that's the whole thing about football culture, and kids are playing and they're not winning games, and it's all right, everybody gets a medal. Whoopie do, you're not going to be playing in 5 years' time, are you? You're going to be sitting, going to go and work, doing something else. So I think we'll have to get back to that winning mentality and having a drive, and not everyone's equal, because if everyone was equal, you'd have about 5 million people in Scotland playing football on Saturday. So there is always going to be divides, and there's always going to be people that are better. There's always going to be people that aren't quite as good, but then flourish later on. So there's no right way and wrong way to get to the top. It's about ambition and about desire. Really enjoyed the chat, Scott, and I'm grateful for your time. Thank you. Cheers, partner. All the best, Steve. Thank you. Cheers, Derek.